Hello there, a very good evening and welcome to another edition of Primetime News on TV1. I'm Charlotte Benedict for the Newsfirst team. Let's start off with a look at your headlines for tonight. US-Russia presidential meeting ends without agreement on peace talks. Trump sets date to meet with Ukrainian president. Sri Lankan economy is improving. Central bank governor speaks of the future at the Invest Sri Lanka Investor Forum held in Singapore. Government is afraid of criticism, making baseless allegations. A statement from Dr. Harsha D Silva. Sajith Premadasa will contest the next presidential election. Mano Ganeshan reveals details of discussion among leaders of the Samagi Jana Sandhanaya. President issues extraordinary gazette allowing Navy and foreign private maritime security companies to provide services. 99,000 tourists arrive in Sri Lanka in 13 days. Starting off with a look at those stories now in detail, US President Donald Trump and Russian President Vladimir Putin met in Alaska at a historic meeting. No deal was reached at the summit, but the US president insisted progress was made. Russian President Vladimir Putin said he was sincerely interested in ending the conflict. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky will head to Washington on Monday to discuss ending the war.
President Vladimir Putin made a return to the global stage as he arrived in Alaska, where US President Donald Trump greeted him with a red carpet welcome. A display of military muscle featured a B-2 stealth bomber flying overhead, accompanied by F-22 fighter jets, the same jets used to strike Iran's nuclear sites last June. Both men posed to look at the aircraft overhead before climbing onto the stage at Joint Base Elmendorf-Richardson. Putin and Trump rode to the summit together in the US presidential car. The two leaders engaged in nearly 3 hours of closed-door talks which were not open to the media. After their summit, Trump and Putin gave statements to the press.
Стала ситуация вокруг Украины. Мы видим стремление администрации США.
We see the strive of the administration and President Trump personally to help facilitate the resolution of the Ukrainian conflict, and his strive to get to the crux of the matter, to understand this history, is precious. As I've said, the situation in Ukraine has to do with fundamental threats to our security. Moreover, we've always considered the Ukrainian nation, and I've said it multiple times, a brotherly nation, however strange it may sound in these conditions. We have the same roots, and everything that's happening is a tragedy for us and terrible wound. Therefore, the country is sincerely interested in putting an end to it. I would like to hope that the agreement that we've reached together will help us bring closer that goal and will pave the path towards peace in Ukraine. We expect that Kiev and European capitals will perceive that constructively and that they won't throw a wrench in the works.
He will fly to Washington, D.C. on Monday to meet Donald Trump after the US and Russian presidents left Alaska without an agreement on Ukraine. Following the meeting, President Trump stated that Ukraine should agree to a deal to end the war with Russia. Donald Trump engaged in a lengthy phone call with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. This conversation, which began bilaterally, later included several European leaders. During this call, the leaders collectively agreed that the most effective way to end the ongoing conflict between Russia and Ukraine is through a comprehensive peace agreement. A group of European leaders has published a joint statement following talks this morning with Trump and Zelensky, saying that, quote-unquote, the next step must now be further talks, including President Zelensky. The leaders say that they are ready to work with President Trump and President Zelensky towards a trilateral summit with European support.
Governor of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka, Dr. Nandalal Veerasinghe, speaking about the future of Sri Lanka's economy, said that recovery should be much easier. He made this statement while speaking at the Invest Sri Lanka Investor Forum held in Singapore.
The Invest Sri Lanka Investment Forum was held on the 12th of August in Singapore, showcasing Sri Lanka's investment-friendly environment and efforts to strengthen bilateral economic ties.
The new government has maintained macroeconomic consistency, helping Sri Lanka surpass recent growth expectations. While challenges do remain, the absence of major unrest, violence, or political upheavals in recent months underscores the relatively stable political environment we are in now. Sri Lanka is just not a story of recovery, it's a story of transformation. With a stable macroeconomic environment, a committed reforms agenda, and a capital market that is gaining regional traction, we believe this is a moment of alignment. Alignment between policy, performance, and potential. Whether through financial instruments, infrastructure projects, digital finance, or capital market participation, Sri Lanka offers investors a strategic gateway into a market defined by resilience, reform, and growing global relevance.
Sri Lanka's economic revival offers a compelling opportunity to strengthen and modernize our capital market, anchored in innovation, transparency, and modernize our capital market anchored in innovation. So ultimately, we are moving towards ensuring transparency and inclusivity.
Over 150 senior officials, regulators, business leaders and global investors attended the forum.
The annual target for primary balance is 750 billion rupees, but it is happy to announce you that by the first half we have been able to pass that target. So that means we can easily maintain this particular target during the year. Already it is around 800 something. The primary target has been achieved. Primary expenditures have been maintained within the given level.
We know we went into a deep economic crisis in 2022, where the inflation went to 70%, GDP growth negative, almost 8% contraction. So this is a story of the recovery. If you look at any country which has gone through this kind of a deep economic crisis, and the recovery path is relatively faster, even compared to similar countries that went into one is the sovereign debt crisis, secondly balance of payment crisis. Historically, the worst economic crisis we experienced in Sri Lanka in 2022. Now we have much more stable political environment, a strong long-term mandate for the current government. I think it's now much easier path going forward to me. I think if past was, the last couple of years were tough, difficult, but still we were able to recover. And going forward, I think recovery should be much easier. That's why I think outlook, when you look at the recovery from second half of 2023 up to now, we have steady growth of last year 5%. This year will be close to 5%.
The forum was organized by the Colombo Stock Exchange and Securities and Exchange Commission in collaboration with the Sri Lankan High Commission in Singapore, with the support from key business associations and Sri Lankan Airlines.
Moving to some news from Sri Lanka's political arena, Samagijana Balawege parliamentarian Dr. Harsha D Silva responded to allegations made against him on social media over a recent statement he made in Parliament.
Samagijana Balawege MP Dr. Harsha D Silva recently shared a video on X of a statement he made in Parliament regarding US tariffs. In his speech, he emphasized that it was inappropriate to mock India. This post had drawn strong criticism from several factions.
Last week, my speech in Parliament urging not to ridicule India has been misinterpreted. Government supporters are attempting to portray me as a traitor. I made that statement in response to real events, recognizing that India is facing challenges due to US tariffs and that they supported Sri Lanka during our most difficult times. I made that statement in response to real events that took place that day. I did not make this statement in secret. I made the statement in Parliament. If the government believes that labeling me as a traitor will stop my work or our movement, they are mistaken.
Harsha D Silva මර්ධනය කරන්න පුළුවන් කියලා අපේ ගමන නවත්තන්න පුළුවන් කියලා ඒක නම් වෙන්නේ නැහැ.
Meanwhile, National People's Power Member of Parliament Devananda Suravira said that Dr. Harsha D Silva made his statement with the malicious intent of damaging relations between India and Sri Lanka.
A peacock dances because it's beautiful, but it doesn't know that its backside is exposed. We are truly saddened by the mess the current SJB is in. Now, what do people like Harsha want? His statement is intended to create a small stain on the diplomatic ties we have with India. India is a country with which we have a history. At present, we are engaged in very good diplomatic dealings with India. The opposition MPs cannot tolerate this. They thought we would lose our diplomatic relations, that we wouldn't be able to deal with foreign countries. They said it wasn't happening. Now our little country is dealing with the world very beautifully. The benefits of that are coming to the people of the country. So with a malicious mindset and aiming to create this conflict, they have made these statements. But in reality, India knows who we are. USS Santa Barbara, an Independence variant littoral combat ship that belongs to the 7th Fleet of the US Navy, docked at the port of Colombo this morning, marking its first port call to Colombo.
USS Santa Barbara is right here in Colombo. The port of Colombo is no stranger for ships sailing back and forth every day. But today we have a very special guest. USS Santa Barbara is right here at the port of Colombo for her very first port call. Let's take a look.
The Independence variant littoral combat ship USS Santa Barbara, or LCS-32, is a part of the US 7th Fleet, which commands the world's largest forward deployed fleet, with the primary mission of providing operational control and planning for its forces in the Western Pacific and Indian Oceans, while promoting regional stability and maritime security through engagements with allies and partners. Christened on the 16th of October 2021, the visit of USS Santa Barbara to Sri Lanka marks its first ever port call to Colombo. The ship's brief stop in Colombo is intended for refueling and resupplying before continuing its mission. CDR Adam J. Oakes is the commanding officer of the combat ship USS Santa Barbara.
LCSs are multi-mission, multi-modular, where we can do multiple things. You're currently standing in our mission bay, where we are currently set up as a mine countermeasure ship. So our job is to be able to go out, find, identify mines that other countries have put in the water, whether in the bottom of the sea, moored in the sea, or floating on top of the water. We would then find those, mark them, and then if determined, we could destroy them, right? And open up the sea lines of communication, seaways for peaceful traffic to go through. We currently have 106 people on board for a anti-surface, anti-air warfare. We've got forward a 57 millimeter main gun. We have a sea ram system, which is a missile system to counter inbound missiles against us. So if they fire missiles at us, we have a counter to that, and that is our self-defense system. And then our offensive capability is mainly in our helicopter. We can send it out with Hellfire missiles.
U.S. Ambassador to Sri Lanka Jolie Chung, together with Secretary to the Ministry of Defence, retired Air Vice Marshal Sampath Toyakonta, and Commander of the Sri Lanka Navy, Vice Admiral Kanchan Banagoda, visited the port of Colombo this morning to tour the USS Santa Barbara.
The arrival of the USS Santa Barbara, a littoral combat ship built for speed, agility, and advanced operations, is more than just a port call. It reflects a strong and growing relationship between our nations. For over 75 years, the United States and Sri Lanka have worked together to advance shared goals of economic prosperity, security, and stability. The Indian Ocean is vital to global trade, and Sri Lanka's strategic location makes it a key player in ensuring the security of these sea lanes. Together, we are committed to combating threats like drug trafficking, human smuggling, transnational crimes, and contributing to a safer, more prosperous region. Sri Lanka's contributions to maritime security are truly inspiring. Like the Santa Barbara's motto, which you will see on that sign, resilient and determined. That too is the Sri Lankan Navy, and that too is the Sri Lankan people. Later this year, we will gift yet another fourth cutter, further strengthening Sri Lanka's ability to protect its maritime domain. The visit of the USS Santa Barbara here today represents the strength of our partnership and our shared commitment to a free, open and secure Indian Ocean region.
Journalists were also given an opportunity to tour the USS Santa Barbara. Right here, I'm on the helipad of the USS Santa Barbara. Right behind me, you can see the helicopter that they use to fly out and back into the ship. This is special because they have 3 pilots, but also from the US Navy who are operating this. With a length of 127.5 meters, USS Santa Barbara is currently operating as part of Destroyer Squadron 7 and conducts regular Indo-Pacific patrols to deter aggression, strengthen alliances and partnerships, and advance future warfighting capabilities.
The sea phase of the 12th bilateral naval exercises between Sri Lanka and India is set to begin tomorrow. The exercise was inaugurated on the 14th aboard Sri Lanka Navy ship Vibbouti at the Colombo port under the patronage of the Indian Deputy High Commissioner to Sri Lanka, Dr. Satyanjal Pandey, with the participation of Navy Director General of Operations Rear Admiral Buddhika Lianagamage.
The Sri Lanka-India bilateral naval exercise aims to enhance operational interoperability between the two navies, exchange standard operating procedures, share new knowledge and capabilities, and strengthen mutual understanding. The exercise is conducted in 2 phases, the port phase and the sea phase. 2 Indian Navy warships and Sri Lanka's deep-sea patrol vessels, Vibbouti and Sirasa, are participating. The port phase, which began on the 14th of August, concluded today, while the sea phase is scheduled for tomorrow and the following day along the western coast. The bilateral naval exercise was first held in 2005.
Newsfirst, main sponsor.
A trusted place for your fixed deposits. Valuable FD, the symbol of stability. A trusted place for your fixed deposits. Valuable FD, 10.25% for 15 months, 11% for 24 months. Valuable FD, the symbol of stability.
The annual Nallur Festival 2025. Join us at Shakti TV Nallur Live Studio from 19th to 21st August and tune into Shakti TV to witness the live telecast of the Saparam on 20th August at 5:30 p.m. and the Thair on the 21st of September from 6:30 a.m. Shakti TV, power of the nation.
Welcome back to the news. Former Minister Dr. Susil Premajayantha says that before moving to a no-confidence motion against the government, the opposition should first adopt clear and principled policy decisions.
Former Minister Dr. Susil Premajayantha emphasized that the opposition should first adopt clear, principled policy decisions while commenting on the no-confidence motion against Deputy Minister Aruna Jayasekara.
During our time, individual members of the opposition brought motions of no confidence and they failed. So I believe that instead of introducing a no confidence motion individually, these groups should first come forward with clear policy decisions. The opposition needs to do that first.
තැන් වල රැස්ුණාට කවදා හරි දවසක එක පොදු අරමුණකට එන්න එපානේ මේ වෙලාවේ අලුත් ආණ්ඩුවක් බලයට ඇවිල්ලා විශාල බලයකින් මේ අවුරුද්දක් යනකොට ආණ්ඩු පෙරලන්න යන එක මම හිතන්නේ ප්‍රඥා ගෝචර නෑ එහෙම වෙලා නෑ අකුල ගලින්න ඕනේ නෑ එහෙම කරන්න අවශ්‍ය නෑ ඉතින් ජනතාවගේ බලයක් දීලා තිනවනම් එයාට එයාගේ ප්‍රතිපත්තීන් පිළිඅරගෙන ජනතාව බලය දුන්නේ. ඉතින් ඒක කරලා බලන්න දෙන්න ඕනේ.
MP Kitnan Selvaraj says that this no confidence motion is a failure.
People like Pillayan are now in prison. What is the opposition saying while investigations into the Easter attacks are ongoing? Sajith Premadasa has brought a no-confidence motion against the Deputy Minister of Defence. He doesn't even know that a no-confidence motion cannot be brought against a Deputy Minister. This shows how politically weak he is. The opposition, having failed politically, knows it cannot win. Yet they continue to bring such motions just to show that they are doing something.
The Deputy Minister of Land and Irrigation says that the main aim of the no-confidence motion is merely to safeguard the diminishing role of the SJB in the opposition.
I believe this no-confidence motion is being brought mainly to secure the diminishing role of the SJB in the opposition rather than for any genuine parliamentary purpose. Generally, a Deputy Minister has never faced a no-confidence motion so far. There is nothing here that warrants a no-confidence motion. I think it's more about protecting the declining political position of the SJB. It also seems aimed at testing whether Sajith Premadasa still has influence over the remaining votes from at least the SJB. I have seen groups visiting GL Peiris's residence for discussions, and Sajith Premadasa wasn't involved. Only a few former party members of the SJB attended. The core issue is that the party cannot fully control its members. While the leadership holds certain political views, members act independently. Now some are questioning Sajith Premadasa's leadership and whether they are willing to follow him. If you consider the parliament, Sajith Premadasa no longer has full control over the SJB members under his leadership.
Tamil Progressive Alliance leader Mano Ganesan says opposition leader Sajith Premadasa has confirmed his candidacy for the upcoming presidential election during a meeting of party leaders of the Samagijana Sandanaya. He made this statement on the program Shakti Newsline.
யார் யார் அந்த சந்திப்பிலே கலந்து கொண்டது?
சிறுபான்மை கட்சிகளாகிய நாங்கள் ஐக்கிய மக்கள் கூட்டணிக்குள் இருக்க கட்சிகள், நான் ராவ் ஃபக்கீம், சார் பதுவுதீன், அதேபோல் டிபிஏ எங்களோட கட்சியை சார்ந்து நானும் திகாம்பரம் ராதாகிருஷ்ணன் ஆகிய கலந்து கொண்டோம். அப்படித்தான் பேசினார்கள்.
அந்த விடயத்தை அதன் போது சஜித் பிரேமதாச தான் ஜனாதிபதி
தான் நிச்சயமாக அடுத்த ஜனாதிபதி தேர்தலிலே வேட்பாளராக போட்டியிடுவதற்கான தயாரிப்பு செய்து கொண்டிருப்பதாகவும் அந்த நிலை உறுதியாக இருப்பதாகவும் சொன்னார். அதுக்கான உரிமை அவர் இருக்கிறது அல்லவா?
அதற்கு உங்களுடைய கட்சியினுடைய சிறுபான்மை கட்சியினுடைய
நாங்கள் சொந்தமாக அது கேட்டுக்கொண்டோம். நாங்கள் ஐக்கிய மக்கள் சக்தி அல்லவே, வேறு கட்சி தான், கூட்டணி கட்சி தான். கேட்டுக்கொண்டோம், அவ்வளவுதான். பதில் சொல்ல போகவில்லை, நாங்கள் பதில் சொல்ல போகவில்லை. ஆனால் அதை அவரது அது அப்படி சொல்வது உரிமை அவருக்கு இருக்கிறது, அவ்வளவுதானே.
உங்களுடைய பார்வையில் அது சாத்தியப்படும் என்று நினைக்கிறீர்கள்?
இல்ல, பொறுத்திருந்து பார்ப்போம்.
National organizer of the Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna Namal Rajapaksa says investor confidence is declining due to the current government's actions. On one hand, taxes are being imposed without a limit, while on the other hand, jobs are being lost daily. Major investors who came to the country are now being turned away. Previously, the government claimed investors left due to theft, but that wasn't the case. They said that because of theft in the country, investors didn't come. Since this government came to power, numerous factories have closed down. We must ask the government, did those factories also shut down because of theft?
Newsfirst with the people.
The exclusive economic zone, the Sea of Sri Lanka, is 8 times larger than the landmass of our country. It is one of the busiest maritime zones in the world, with around 45,000 ships, including 4,500 oil tankers, passing through annually, making it even busier than the Suez Canal. The government has made a decision that could turn this maritime traffic into a significant economic advantage. President Andrukumar Dissanayake has issued an extraordinary gazette notification to enable the Sri Lanka Navy to maintain a maritime security operation project to provide services and facilities to foreign private maritime security companies providing security services to merchant vessels. The order was issued under Section 21 of the Navy Act. According to the relevant gazette, the Navy will be empowered to carry out the operational, administrative and financial activities of the said project as appropriate under the supervision of the Ministry of Defence. According to this gazette notification, provisions are made to store firearms, ammunition and other equipment belonging to foreign private maritime security companies in the armories of the Sri Lanka Navy and to transport firearms, ammunition and other equipment belonging to foreign private maritime security companies as required by operational requirements using vehicles or vessels provided by local representatives of foreign private maritime security companies under the supervision and security of the Sri Lanka Navy and to perform all the matters connected thereto or incidental thereto as non-naval duties. 99,000 foreign tourists have arrived in Sri Lanka during the first 13 days of this month.
Sri Lanka Tourism Development Authority said that this number of tourist arrivals was recorded as 99,000 between the 1st and the 13th of August. So far this year, a total of 467,000 foreign tourists have visited the country.
The Lyceum Academy hosted a robotics workshop today.
A robotics workshop conducted by lecturers of the Sri Lanka Institute of Robotics, organized by the Lyceum Academy, took place in Colombo today. The workshop aimed to enhance students' knowledge in the field of robotics, ignite interest in STEM education, and introduce participants to the latest developments in AI and tech trends. The workshop featured engaging lectures, practical training, and an exhibition.
While at Sri Lanka today launched Willett Walk 25 to mark National Logistics Day.
3, 2, 1, and go!
Willett Sri Lanka, the Women in Logistics and Transport, today launched Willett Walk 25 to commemorate National Logistics Day.
If you don't want that to happen,
the walk celebrates the resilience and innovation of logistics professionals while highlighting women's growing role and promoting industry engagement and awareness.
please stay in the designated area. Thank you.
Established on the 21st of March 2013, Willett Sri Lanka is one of the 5 pioneering chapters of Willett Global, dedicated to empowering and supporting women in the logistics, transport and supply chain sectors.
The Vibbouti Pilgrimage commenced from Kandy today. The Vibbouti, which receives blessings from temples and kovils across the country, is scheduled to be distributed to devotees attending the annual festival at the Nallur Kandaswamy Kovil through Newsfirst's Spiritual Pavilion.
The Vibbouti Pilgrimage, which began yesterday from Sella Kataragama Sri Manika Pillayar Kovil, reached the Kandy Mahakataragama Devalaya today. The Vibbouti was blessed there and it later proceeded to the Alavatugoda Sri Muttumari Amman Kovil. Blessings with the Vibbouti were also conducted at Matale Kadiresan and Kakirava Sri Siddhi Vinayakar Kovil. The journey of the Vibbouti towards the Nallur Kandaswamy Kovil will commence tomorrow from Vaunia. For the annual festival of Nallur Kandaswamy Kovil, Newsfirst has set up a special pavilion at the Nallur Sivaguru Adinam. From this pavilion, the Vibbouti, which has been blessed at temples including Kataragama, is being distributed to devotees.
It's day number 2 of Vibbouti Yatra, a journey which started from Kataragam yesterday, and right now we are here in Vaunia. We started day number 2 from Kandy, then we went to Kovils in Kandy, Matale, Kakirava, and also right now we are here visiting a Kovil in Vaunia, and we are expecting to finish day number 2 in a few more hours, where we will be reaching Kilinochchi, and we are ready to start day number 3 from Kilinochchi and to go towards Jaffna and also to visit the Nallur festival and also to the Nallur Kovil.
At least 321 people have died in northern Pakistan after heavy monsoon rains triggered flash floods across the border in Indian-controlled Kashmir. Flash floods in Chosti village have left at least 60 dead and dozens missing.
The death toll from heavy monsoon rains that have triggered flash floods across northern Pakistan has risen to at least 321 people in the past 48 hours. The majority of the deaths, 307, were recorded in the mountainous Khyber Pakhtunkhwa province, according to the National Disaster Management Authority. 9 more people were killed in Pakistan-administered Kashmir, while 5 died in the northern Gilgit-Baltistan region. Most were killed in flash floods and collapsing houses, while 21 others were injured. The Meteorological Department has issued a heavy rain alert for Pakistan's northwest for the next few hours, urging people to take precautionary measures. About 2,000 rescue workers were engaged in recovering bodies from the debris and carrying out relief operations in 9 affected districts. In Indian-controlled Kashmir, rescuers searched for missing people in the remote Himalayan village of Chosti after flash floods a day earlier left at least 60 people dead and at least 80 missing. At least 300 people were rescued Thursday following a powerful cloud burst that triggered floods and landslides, but the operation was halted overnight. Officials said many missing people were believed to have been washed away and the number of missing could increase. At least 50 seriously injured people were treated at hospitals, many of them rescued from a stream filled with mud and debris.
St. Joseph's College, Maradana won the Lady Jayatilaka Memorial Shield by defeating St. Thomas's College, Mount Lavinia in their annual rugby encounter.
The match was held at St. Thomas's College grounds, Mount Lavinia. St. Thomas's College, Mount Lavinia took the lead in the first half with a score of 19-14. The decisive second half took a heated turn, with St. Joseph's College refusing to give up and scoring 26 points. St. Thomas's College only scored 17 in that half. St. Joseph's College Maradana won the match by 40-36. They reclaimed the Lady Jayatilaka Memorial Shield from St. Thomas's College, Mount Lavinia. St. Joseph's College scored 6 tries and 5 conversions, while St. Thomas's College scored 5 tries, 4 conversions and a penalty.
And that's a wrap of Primetime News on TV1 for tonight. Thank you very much for watching. Take care and God bless.